Welcome everyone to the Goblins live show. I hope you're all doing well. We've got an awesome show lined up for you today where we are going to discuss...
My appetite finally hit the off switch.
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, in today's show, we are going to discuss... do motorcycles have an expiry date? You ready, wifey?
I'm ready now, yeah, sorry.
Okay, let's roll the intro.
I didn't have it up to 100% though. I can't got
How we doing, wifey?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had quite a shocker last week. Still kind of reeling from that, I think, from last week's show. So, yeah, still in shock about that. I mean, I think we discussed it a little bit afterwards, and I mean, I don't think there's anything more really to say about what we were discussing last week. To
The
be
UK
honest with you.
used market. No, I think we covered everything,
I
didn't
mean,
we?
we kind of made the point clear. I think that at the moment, if you're working on a budget and you're trying to get into motorcycles, you're trying to buy a cheap bike, you know, you're going to struggle at the moment with at least the current market. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it will get a little bit better. Going forward and all that. Hopefully it'll
Hopefully it'll pick up and get a bit better, especially for people wanting project bikes. They want something that can actually run.
No, not a project bike. Something you actually run.
Oh,
Something
sorry.
that has that runs and has an MOT is what we're looking for.
Mark said the
And,
mics are a bit low.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Thank you for that, Mark. We'll turn them up.
Is it both mics or is it just Goblins mic?
It's probably both of ours, but
Okay.
I mean that is funnily enough, Mark. Thanks for mentioning it because we actually when we rewatched the live stream from last week, there was an echo as well. So we think we fixed it, but if you hear an echo from either of our voices, then definitely let us know. But yeah, I've turned up the sensitivity of my microphone, so hopefully that'll help. But anyway, so I mean, has there been anything interesting happening this week for us?
I don't think so.
No, I mean I'm still kind of seething about what happened last week with my martial arts gym and all that. That's still happening. Still kind of like in the background. So yeah, I mean, just one of those things, isn't it? But it's been quite a tough few weeks, I think. So we had a nice week off, and then everything just kind of
Went to pot.
And yeah, we're still kind of figuring things out a couple of weeks later. So yeah, bit annoying, but yeah, I mean, I don't think we've just been chugging along, haven't we? Just doing our usual thing, sticking to our routine. Nothing really. I don't think anything really sticks out as far as we're concerned of anything that's been going on. No, can't think off the top of my head. So
I don't think we've even watched anything groundbreaking. Just we watched this and it was really good.
No, that's right. So yeah, I think it's been a bit of a boring week, I suppose, in a sense.
And nothing like getting to the weekend with a cold. Loving this right now.
On Monday, whilst I was training, I hurt my neck. So
we had a
now
week of
turning my head to the left now really hurts.
We've basically had a week of injuries and illness.
Yeah.
This is why we probably sound really boring. We're both just like knackered and like run down and stuff. So
yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, we might as well just crack on with our topic today, mightn't we?
Let's.
So, okay, I should probably give you a bit more context around what we're discussing today. So, have you kind of seen the people in the comments, seen the people in the chat that have this opinion that, kind of like motorcycles as we know them, will cease to exist in any form. They'll cease to exist, and no one will be riding a form of motorcycle at some point in the future, like some dystopian like civilization or what have you, where everything is all AI driven and or GPS driven and what have you. So and basically we're just going to try and discuss whether or not we think that's going to happen. So because there's always I mean, because when we kind of discuss the whole, like, what's the word, the speed limiters and the things that are kind of coming into force at some point or another, which is going to kind of take control away from the driver, or in this case, the rider. And how far do we think that's going to go? To what extreme do we think that could go? And so, I mean, this is kind of your idea, Wifey. So have you got any initial thoughts on this topic so far? No?
I don't know. I think I'm just an ideas mill. I don't know. I think that there was a thought formed. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh. Can you ask me again in a minute? Can you circle back to me?
Sure. So, I mean, as we're kind of discussing this, guys, definitely let us know your thoughts in the chat and what have you about what you think the future entails for us riders. But I mean, we could be talking 100 years in the future. We could be talking 500 years into the future. But I mean, I struggle to believe that it will go that far.
What, 100 years?
That it will go, no. That it will go so far that motorcycles will no longer exist. You know, like I don't know. We'll all be riding around in AI drones or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Let me pose the question to you. Sorry, I've got hiccups. With like them say that people saying, oh, there's going to be like cars that drive themselves and, you know, that's the future and we're going to be able to just sit in the back and relax. And obviously Tesla's already started doing something like that where it will drive itself, but you have to touch the steering wheel every now and then for it to know you're actually in the front of the car still and you're not like having a snooze in the back. With that in mind, if we went down that route, let's say hypothetically we go down the route where all the cars are self-driven, do you think that bikes will?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that
it's going to take away the stress and all these sorts of things because your car will take you from A to B.
That's the thing. I don't think you can have a driverless or riderless motorcycle. I don't think that's how it would work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if we got to the point where we could have driverless cars, do you think people will go, I want a bike still?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, of course they would. Of course they would. That's my point. Is that I don't think there's one practically it ain't gonna work. So if the motorcycle industry wants to survive, which I'm assuming that a lot of companies want to survive because their entire business model is around motorcycles.
I'm not talking about self-driven bikes. At no point am I. That's not what I'm trying to get at.
No. I know what you're trying to say,
Okay.
but I'm you're making me lose my train of thought. So I don't think that motorcycles are going to be going away anytime soon anyway. But from a rider's point of view, just because there's AI-driven cars everywhere, doesn't mean that they wouldn't want to ride a motorcycle still.
But do you think it will stop people like 17-year-olds from wanting to learn to ride if they can just get in a car that will do everything for them?
No, I don't think so.
You don't?
No. And there's a massive argument to be made as well around the same topic, but with cars anyway. Like, you know, a lot of people, including myself, would prefer to just drive myself. I suppose over longer journeys and things like that, having an automated car might be convenient, but for the most part, no, I'll be driving myself. And it'll be the exact same for motorcycles as well. But I mean, you're talking about it. You're asking the question from like a rider's perspective. I'm kind of trying to come at this from an industry perspective.
Okay, so let's take companies like Just Eat for example.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was this thing, wasn't there, a while ago where Amazon were going to be trialing delivering parcels by drones. If that happened and you started, you could open your door and there's your pizza hovering in front of your face and it's all great, that's obviously going to negate the need for Just Eat riders. Yeah. So do you think riding will become more of a like weekend hobby rather than like a necessity?
Well, I suppose you could argue that already is
So
the
like
case.
for yourself, you use it for business and pleasure, don't you?
Yeah.
Whereas
very much.
some people will only use it for business because that's the only form of transport and won't necessarily get like...
Well, I think when we think about it logically, riding a motorcycle is a hobby. So yes, there are practical elements to riding a motorcycle to begin with, but when you boil it down, it's just a hobby. We ride motorcycles because we enjoy riding them, but it just so happens that added benefits are getting us to work quicker. Just the thrill of the ride. It puts a smile on your face before you even get to work. That kind of thing. So, I mean, when you think about it from that perspective, I don't think that really has a bearing on this. To be honest with you,
it's just I'm just trying to think of it from all angles where bikes might get used.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the thing is that, like, as much as certain people would be happy with this future of like no human interaction whatsoever, or no human intervention whatsoever in a particular activity. One, it wouldn't work for motorcycles. So it kind of begs the question the question we're asking today is, will they exist if there's no need for them?
Do you think there's enough riders out there
Yes,
to
I
keep
do.
it alive?
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Just because it's one of those hobbies that is the people that participate in this hobby they're not pushovers. These are people that will stand up for the industry. These are people that will, make it their livelihoods, trying to make it work. And I think actually, when we start moving over to electric and what have you, that will happen as well for ICEs as well, where there will be like this cult following for ICEs of people that will not let them go.
This is the thing. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm for it.
I'm not trying to be negative about the whole thing. Like when you say, "Oh, that doesn't bear meaning" and stuff. It's not like I'm trying to throw things in that I haven't thought through. It's more that I'm trying to think of all different areas, and I'm just thinking that I'm not saying that bikes should go away. Like that's absolutely not what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that I want bikes to go. I'm finished. But what I'm trying to... I'll forget if you don't. But what I'm trying to say is like... No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've lost my thought now.
What I was going to ask you is, if this ends up being truth, this is a reality.
Bikes going.
That no. That this whole driverless future,
Right.
where motorcycles make no sense anymore, there's no point in riding them.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen to them?
I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know.
See, so at the moment, so you could make the argument right now that motorcycles aren't necessary, but at the same time, they have a lot of practical applications in today's world. But there's nothing to say that in 50, 100 years' time, when automation is rife and more control is being taken away from humans, that there'll be even less necessity for them, less practicality for them.
Yeah, but I mean, automation isn't foolproof, is it? Let's be honest. It's not going to work all the time, 100% of the time.
That's the aim. The aim of automation is to make roads safer and all that stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that, because do you remember that it was like this, it was either an article or it was a paper, something that was written about an AI's decision-making process when it comes to if an AI-driven car is driving towards a pedestrian, does the AI car try to protect the driver, or does it try to protect the pedestrian? And then there's this whole kind of like moral argument about whether or not it's right for a computer to make that decision, or even if it is like the driver of the car or a crowd of pedestrians that are in the road. So this is where automation starts to fall down a little bit, because you don't really know, because the algorithms are all built by the companies. They're all developed by the companies. So it all depends on really the company's view on whether or not it should protect the driver, who is an investor in their company, or people that, quite frankly, the company has got no involvement with. And then, so how does that play into the algorithms?
You're literally describing the trolley problem.
The trolley problem.
The trolley problem. Do you sacrifice lots of people to save one person, or one person save lots of people? That's the trolley problem.
In a sense.
When you like,
in a sense. But this is not my argument. This is coming from an AI's perspective.
But I know. But let's say, for argument's sake, you're driving and the car veers off towards a crowd of people. At that point, is the car gonna save the driver or the crowd of people?
So these are questions
that's the trolley problem.
So these are questions that these companies need to try and figure out first.
There's almost no right or wrong answer with that.
No, exactly. There is no right answer here. The answer is all going to come down to basically the algorithm's choice. I mean, obviously, we're kind of making it really simplistic in the sense that, well, obviously, you know, like, why would the car drive into a group of people anyway when it could just use the brakes? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I totally understand that. But it's just a hypothetical scenario, isn't it? And again, it kind of makes me skeptical. If it makes me skeptical, then surely there's going to be a load of people that are also going to be skeptical of this same problem. And that's just one example. You never know. Things like congestion, traffic problems. Is AI actually going to help with congestion? Is it going to relieve congestion? Because when you think about it, an AI is supposed to calculate best possible routes and everything, almost like a GPS, and automate the process of traveling. But what if that actually has the opposite effect?
Yeah. I think, just going back to the whole motorbikes thing, in my mind, there are tasks out there that are better suited to motorbikes.
Yes, I agree.
So, for instance, let's take blood deliveries as an example.
A drone. Use a drone.
You could do.
Yeah, there you go.
But also, you could use a bike.
Yeah, but a drone will be quicker. It'll fly. It'll be able to carry probably the same amount of weight that a motorcycle could carry. It'd be easier. See, again, like, I mean, when you think about it from an economic point of view, it does make sense when you start bringing things like drones into the equation. That drones might be more expensive, but if they're able to do the same job that, say, a motorcycle can do quicker, then the productivity grows. So it's a good investment in that sense.
But what's the average battery life of a drone? Let's say, like, take a good priced one.
Don't know. It could be up to 8 hours.
Okay,
8 hours flight time.
So, but you could then only realistically, say you were going from, like, Brighton to London, you could realistically do 2 hours there, drop it, 2 hours back to base, pick up some more, let's say, like, you might not get as many deliveries out of it in one battery load that you might be able to do on a bike.
Or you could fly from London to Brighton to the next destination and back to London. You wouldn't have. Why would you have to go back to
but
go out again?
If you went from Brighton to London with one load, you have to go back to Brighton to go back, say, to, I don't know, Bournemouth.
Yeah, but
and then back.
But why? But what would be the difference in carrying 2 loads? To see what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the moment, this is kind of new technology, but I mean, it's been around for a while now, but its applications are still kind of coming to light. I mean, for example, the police nowadays, whenever they're using, in the situation where they used to have helicopters chasing criminals and what have you to track them down and what have you, now instead they have drone crews that can do exactly the same job. So it's cheaper, it's more efficient in terms of time, less training. The person operating the drone doesn't have to be a pilot, you know. So it kind of like makes it. There's no point in having a helicopter, and this is the exact same discussion that we're having. Is that in this future, whether or not there'd be any point in actually having motorcycles at all?
So from what it sounds like you're saying, is that motorbikes would bear absolutely no use to the industries because drones would be able to do the same task.
Drones is it's one example.
I know, but let's say drones is the only. Let's say we're only using drones.
The saving grace for motorcycles is, like I was saying before, is the passion of the community. Yeah, us as a community want to continue doing it. Of course we do. There's a massive industry that's dedicated towards this purpose. There are entire companies that are dedicating their entire business models towards the production of these machines that so many people love. So it will remain alive as long as that community is still there to encourage it and to develop it, to put the money in towards it, to invest in it and what have you. From a practical standpoint, there's no reason why.
I was going to say, let me rephrase this. So what we're basically getting at is that motorcycles will still exist, but there'll be less uses for them. Like, we'll be using them for riding around, going for a picnic or whatever, but we won't be using them to deliver blood, to deliver food, to, I don't know, whatever else. It will literally become commuting and pleasure riding, and that'll be it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's funny as well. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat here for a moment, just because I think you've got some really good points here. But yeah, let's say hello to everyone. So hi Mark, good to see you, mate. 125 guy, good to see you. Okay, yeah. Let us know what you're shopping for. I'll be curious to find out what you're shopping for today. Let's have a look here. Call on, good to see you, mate. How you doing? JWN196, good to see you. Anyone else in the chat here today? Space City Moto Vlogs, good to see you. All right, so I got quite a lot of stuff here. Let's work our way from the top. Yeah, Mark. Yeah, self-driven bike kills the meaning of going out for a ride. Yeah, exactly. It kind of makes a mockery of the whole process. You know, you ride because you enjoy to ride. So what will be the point in having something else do it for you, kind of thing? Wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's call on self-driven bike. I barely even like all the automatic everything that current bikes have as it is. Yeah, I totally get you. I totally get that. Yeah, that there's a lot of people that argue that same point, that all the electronic features that motorcycles have nowadays is taken away from the riding experience. So yeah, I understand that. JWM196, Elon Musk has said that that just as horses are now for recreation, so to cars will become track only, not or just not in the city. Motorcycle might be the same. Yeah, this is exactly kind of like where we're coming at with this discussion here. Is it's exactly that. You know, are they going to be relics of the past, kind of thing? JWN196, in the USA, everyone, not me, likes to sue, and once the cars go self-driven, the lawyers will get at motorcycles. Yeah, see, we're getting into all sorts of political issues now with this whole idea. You know, this is why I'm skeptical of automation, because it brings about all sorts of, like you say, legal issues, political issues, economic issues, and we'll end up being targeted through no fault of our own, just because we enjoy this hobby.
Yeah.
Call on, that's an ugly thought. Track only for bikes when tracks are getting shut down by Karens. I hope to die long before motorcycling does. Yeah, me too, mate. Absolutely. I mean, is that really happening? Are people getting angry now at racetracks? That's not something that I've personally seen.
Nothing.
But
I don't know if that's happening in the UK, because we obviously got Silverstone and Goodwood and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in the United States, they've got all sorts of amazing racetracks over there for all sorts, for all sorts of motorsport.
Why are they being shut down?
Well,
is it because loads of accidents,
that's the
or
question,
is it just
isn't it?
Karens don't like it, or?
Yeah, that is a question. Oh wow, yeah. If that's true,
it's going to start killing off like NASCAR and stuff. Surely
it's going to start killing off all sorts of motor-related industries, not just motorcycles or what have you. JWM196, I only ride for pleasure and work remotely. However, I love being able to ride from my door, not like going skiing when it takes hours to start the ride. Yeah, that makes sense. Skydiving I did for years, and the drive to and from is a bummer. Same with snowboarding. Man, you do a lot of stuff. Fair play. I mean, skiing is one thing I've always wanted to do. Skydiving has always been something I've been wanting to do. So yeah, it sounds like some good fun though.
I'd love to snowboard, but I don't think I've got the balance for it.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not very good on a skateboard, so on a snowboard, I'm probably going to be even worse.
The thing is, I feel like I'd be safer on a snowboard than two skis that can do this,
Yeah.
and my legs are going to go like that.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Mark, the reason everything's becoming automated is we're becoming way too lazy. Isn't that a story right there? Yeah. People can't be bothered to do things the right way, so instead they just give it to a computer or something like that to do instead. Yeah. I mean, when you've got people on mobility scooters that clearly do not need them, then that statement right there becomes all too real. If someone cannot be bothered to walk from one place to another, you got an issue. You got a serious issue.
Yeah.
But that's another topic as well. Let's have a look here. Automation is already killing people, riders included. I didn't trust them before knowing that. Yeah, I'm skeptical. That's from Call On. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of brings back that whole conversation we were having about, what does an AI choose between? I mean, you could make the argument for a motorcyclist, couldn't you? Does the car protect the driver of the car or the rider of the motorcycle? Like, imagine if the two are going head on with each other. It has to make a decision in 0.001 of a second.
The AI might work the same, so they might do the same thing.
What does it choose to do? Yeah, that's tough, man. JWN196, I think the self-driving in the United States will bring about a motorcycle ban, at least in some areas. Motorcycles will be seen as the last danger to these otherwise safe cars, unfortunately. Yeah, see. This is why we're having this discussion today, because this is our fear, is that once automation is everywhere and, you won't be allowed to drive your own car anymore, you at the same time won't be allowed to ride your own motorcycle. Why would they allow one and not the other? You see what I mean? So if that future is coming, then that situation is more than likely how it's going to go down.
In the States, and this is me being quite naive to be honest with you, could each individual state do individual bans?
Yeah, I suppose they could. So
like one state could be like, no, this is too dangerous, I'm going to ban this, but another state could be, no, we're fine with it. Could that happen? Yes.
Yeah, I believe that each state will have power over what they allow in terms of their traffic control.
There would be like legislation for the whole country then?
I mean, there could be, but, on
That's
like a federal level, but
yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Okay.
Now, I mean, the United States tend to be quite liberal with the way how they administrate states, They kind of leave most of the administration down to the states themselves, really, I think. I mean, I'm sure there's like a set of rules that each state is governed by, but around those rules, they can have their own laws.
JWN196 has said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's to my question. Then Corlon's come and said that could happen state by state, but if it's a federal ban, it's the whole country. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not clued up on it, so I just thought I'd ask.
No, it's a good question because I mean, if any of this stuff is going to happen anywhere in the world, it's more than likely going to be in the United States, where all these innovations are happening. It's you see it in California a lot, where all the eco bans and all this stuff, similar to what we have in Europe, are happening in California first.
And then it spreads out.
It's spreading out to other states and what have you. So, yeah, that's it's a scary thought. It is a scary thought.
Sorry, back to the other question.
Space City Motor Vlogs. If they could automate wheelies, I'll buy the first model. Nice. I love that attitude. That's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah. I think I'd agree with that. Yeah, just have a wheelie button. Just push the wheelie button, and then you pull the throttle back, and the bike does a wheelie automatically. I think that'd be quite funny. I mean, kids will be doing it everywhere. I'll be doing it.
That will get the ban.
That will get the ban.
That will get the ban.
Yeah, without a doubt. Call on. Yes, much of the same people who say take that speed to the track where it belongs are also telling government officials to keep shutting them down. Then it's back to street racing.
It's a cycle, isn't it? Because you want them off that don't want street racing because it can be dangerous. So people go to the tracks. The tracks get closed down, so people go back to the streets. Get told to go to the tracks, and they get shut down. And that's not great.
And there's a video that I shot recently that I don't think I'm going to release, but it is something that I think is worth talking about, especially as we're kind of on a similar topic, is that the decisions that people are making around the motoring industry, motorcycles, cars, trucks, buses, anything. Who are these people? Who are they? Do they have are they fighting on our side, or are they just fighting for? Yeah, are they talking out their asses, basically saying things that they really don't actually understand? You know, trying to push through legislation that they don't actually know how it's going to impact the industry. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because like if these kinds of people that are creating this issue of shutting down racetracks, why? What is their motivation behind shutting down racetracks?
Do you think it's like a personal vendetta?
Exactly. Where's their bias? Because than likely their bias is going to be against drivers and against riders, against enthusiasts of our industry.
That argument that we've always had, and I've said in so many of those videos, they'll go, "Oh, my uncle's wife's daughter's cat's father's monkey died," and that will be it. And there'll be some like weird like connection, 100 people deep that they've died, and they go, "We've got to shut this racetrack because this person died in the racetrack," and it's too.
Well, it's like when we were talking about the Isle of Man TT. Isn't it? You know, the amount of people that die on that racetrack every year, people still do it. People
they
go there knowingly and willingly, knowing that they could potentially die from participating in this race. But that shouldn't mean that we should stop it. It's like boxing. You know, are there people that are going to stop boxing overnight because there's potential for people to die in the ring? Like, yeah, of course there's that potential. The athletes, knowing and willingly go into the ring every single time to compete in their hobby, to compete in their passion. It's no different to us. No different. So I don't understand why there are people, like you say, that seem to have a vendetta against motorists of all kind, you know, not just motorcyclists, drivers, any enthusiasts, basically, like us, enthusiasts around our particular market. They're very, very. There's certain people that just don't like us for whatever reason.
It's like Anderson Silva when his leg got snapped.
Yeah,
he knew. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he still does it. I don't know if he can.
Yeah, no, he does.
But he knew the risk. I mean, that was disgusting when you watch the slow mo of it, but. He knew that, and they've not stopped that, have they?
No, of course not. But for those of you that don't know, Anderson Silva is a pretty famous MMA fighter in the UFC. Who, I mean, this was quite a long time ago now when he had that fight, and
that was like 5-6 years ago, wasn't it?
Snapped his shin, but
ago.
No, he was back within a year.
Yeah,
competing again at professional level.
But do you remember when we went to the BSB qualifying, didn't we? Again, this is about 8 years ago. And Shaky Stevens came off his bike. And he was put on crutches, and he walked around on his crutches, gave the crutches to the people, and got back on. Yeah, because in his mind, he was like, "I'm gonna go. I might as well do something I'm enjoying."
I mean, but that's what these people are like. You know, that they're elite at their sport, and they want to continue doing it.
I think this is the thing, and just to give one last point, it's like the F1. The amount of people that died in the F1. And what they did is they then started to change things about the tracks or about the cars and made them safer and all. So you just adapt. You don't cut the whole thing off entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, Dope Style Gaming, good to see you, mate. How you doing?
Dope Style Gaming and Mark having a moment. So I think we should just leave them to it.
JW196, noise might be the issues. I'm not sure. Not really a track rider, but just a slow ride around type rider. Yeah. Yeah, but seriously, noise. You know, people have a choice if they want to live near a racetrack. It's like, what are you going to start closing down airports because people are going to complain about the noise from airports? People do complain about the noise at Heathrow and Gatwick because there's hundreds of thousands of houses, housing estates that are around those airports. But they're not going to close the airports, are they?
But it's not like you go, Heathrow. That's not going to be loud.
No, that was it, wasn't it? It was bloody hell. This was about 5 or 6 years ago, actually. I think where they were talking about opening up a new runway at Heathrow. And loads of the residents started complaining because the noise was already too bad. Like, you decided to live there.
I think they've opened it.
Yeah, of course, because what are they going to do?
But it's like
there needs to be an expansion of the airport. It's not big enough.
We can go back to the whole argument of the TT.
Yeah.
There is a residential estate, and there's that bungalow on the corner, and people know that there's was it 5 days or something of the TT?
Yeah.
They know it's going to happen, and it's not like you move to an area and be like, Stansted, this must be quiet.
Call on is echoing the same things that we're saying. Noise is too much more of an issue than it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Come on.
I mean, if you don't like planes, don't live near an airport.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to have a baby, don't live near an airport. I mean, and plus, I'm not being funny. Imagine. Do you think house prices are fairly cheap because of the noise?
No, because in Greater London, of course it isn't.
Well then,
people are still prepared to pay those silly prices for houses in and around London, even if it is on the doorstep of an airport.
And there's a few airports in London as well, to be fair. But
yeah,
like
it just doesn't make any sense.
Unless you really don't have a choice where you live, you can choose.
It's like people think they have the right to move somewhere, knowing about the issues of the area, and then just start complaining about it. Because they feel like that they have a right to try and change it. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't have a right to change this. What do you know? What do you know about this particular issue here? Oh, it's an inconvenience to you. Oh, fantastic. What about the hundreds of thousands of people that you'll be affecting because of your issue?
There's certain things when you move to a house that you just can't foresee. Like your neighbours or, I don't know, peeling paintwork or something you might not have known about. But living near an airport, living near a racetrack, or near a train station, they're pretty blooming obvious, aren't they?
Yeah, so, it's not like there are certain things that you can hide.
No,
is it?
You can't exactly just be like, please don't look up because, don't come between these times when there's a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad that we're having to have these discussions when, okay, fine, there might be a minority of people that really take the piss, by, talk about noise, for example, shoving on really, really loud exhaust sets or something like that when they don't need to. There are those kinds of people that are out there, but most of us that participate in these hobbies are moderates. We are compromising. We just want to enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Like, is that really too much to ask? And the thing is that this whole idea of automation is putting that hobby at risk. It's making us think twice about how long we're actually going to be able to do it for. And like some of you guys were saying, I hope I die before this is a reality. But at the same time, our children who might have a shared interest in the hobbies that we participate in, I'd love it if my kids rode motorcycles. I think that would be absolutely great. Imagine if we're like 50 years old, 60 years old, and we're riding with our children. I think that's a really cool, idea.
Yeah.
But that might not happen because they might not see the point because, well, it's not going to be like how it used to be. And it's just things like that just wind me up. They absolutely wind me up. And I am one of those advocates for progression, for moving forward, for making things better. But when you're talking about killing an entire industry to try and make the roads so-called safer, it's not going to work, is it?
You're just going to drive people to do it anyway. Let's be honest.
That's what I mean, though. As much as this future, this hypothetical future might seem quite real, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it will happen for the reasons that we've outlined. There's a massive industry dedicated towards the production of motorcycles. There are certain companies that their entire industry is around motorsport or around motorcycles or around cars. Why? I mean, the only way these companies will survive is if they change their game. Like, imagine if, let's say Triumph, for example, because I don't think Triumph are involved in anything else other than motorcycles. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat, but I'm pretty sure that their entire production is towards motorcycles. I know they're part of like a parent company or something like that now, but let's talk about Triumph in particular. So you turn around and say to Triumph, okay, you're not allowed to produce motorcycles anymore because they're too dangerous, and we need you to start producing automated things instead. Like, what a decision that would be, you know? And then so they'll end up having to make bloody respirators or something, you know? Something totally ridiculous. Companies like Kawasaki and Honda, they'll be absolutely fine because
they have their fingers in
they're
multiple pies.
massive companies. I mean, Kawasaki in particular is a heavy industries company. They'll be absolutely fine. If their motorcycle industry crashed tomorrow, they won't affect the entire company. But there's a reason why they produce motorcycles.
Like KTM. I mean, would they?
KTM, a really good example.
They wouldn't survive, would
No,
they?
I don't think KTM are involved in any other manufacturing, any other industry whatsoever.
No.
But I mean, so I was making the point about Kawasaki being fine overnight if the motorcycle industry crashed. But there's a reason why Kawasaki is a household name. It's not because of their heavy industries.
You don't think, ship's engine.
Yeah.
You go,
Yeah.
Motorbike.
Yeah. Oh, Kawasaki tanker. No, you don't
Yeah.
think that. No, you think when you think Kawasaki, you think motorcycle. That's what makes the Kawasaki brand popular.
The only time where I hear a car, like for instance, a car brand, and I don't think car, is Lamborghini, and I think tractor.
Yeah. Nowadays, you think tractor.
I think tractor. But,
Yeah.
there's some really interesting comments here, actually, that I just would like to
Go for it.
move on to. Just towards the bottom. JWN196 gave us good tips about snowboarding. Apparently it's easier than skateboarding, so we'll have to try that.
Oh, interesting.
But on true snow. So
I was going to say, we do have, around a local area here, we do have a dry ski slope, which I think they do snowboarding on as well.
don't know.
So that might be something for us to try.
I just want to pop down a few comments just towards the bottom, because I think it's something that actually you're going to have something to say about.
Okay.
So, JWN196 has said, my neighbours are actually upset over my stock 883 Harley and stock SX 1000 Ninja. Pipes are both as from the dealership. What do you have to say on that?
Ridiculous.
But your ZZR?
Ridiculous. My ZZR, I mean, the ZH2 even can be pretty loud.
But when you take it to have its MOT.
Oh, of course, yeah, to have its MOT, yeah. Even though it's stock, the MOT testers say that it's too noisy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's stock. It's from
And
the factory.
the last
I had to argue with them about
Yeah.
this on the last MOT a couple of weeks ago, in fact, about getting them to take that off as an advisory because it's from the factory. But they thought that because it was a Krapovich that it was aftermarket. And it's
a
like, no,
sleeve or
it's not. It
something.
comes as
Yeah.
part of that particular spec of the motorcycle. They have it in the factory. It's not like they build a ZZR 1400 and they take it to a garage next door to get some new exhaust fitted. No, it's fitted at the factory.
Yeah.
So, but
And then Mark's put a comment that's made me giggle a little bit. My previous house was right next to the sea. Neighbours complained to the council the birds were too loud. What WTF can the council do? Put bird signs up, ask them to be quiet. And it just I just started smiling. I was like, that's absolutely
You
hilarious.
just start getting guys from the council with shotguns shooting all the birds down. Well, there
Yeah.
you go. How loud is that, eh?
Yeah.
Is that what you prefer, to kill all the birds?
I just think that's so funny. What are they going to
Honestly.
do? Oh my gosh. That's actually
It's just
made my
people
day.
complaining for the sake of goddamn complaining, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like it, move somewhere else.
Colon has said, I'm not thinking tankers when it comes to Yamaha or even music instruments.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. I mean, well, there's a keyboard right there behind us. That's a Yamaha keyboard. This is the wifey's keyboard. She sat in front of it at the moment. But yeah, that's a Yamaha keyboard. But Yamaha aren't known. Well, they are well known in the music industry.
They are, but it's not
because
what
they're quite a
people's
big brand.
mind
But
goes to typically.
For most people, when you think Yamaha, you think motorcycle.
I thought Yamaha do drum kits as well.
Yeah, Yamaha do everything. They do all musical instruments. Yeah.
But I mean, this is the thing. It's like when I said to you the Yamaha logo is 2 tuning forks.
Yeah. But it counts for something.
But yeah,
That's what I mean. Like, the whole idea of someone saying a brand, and even though that's probably like 5-10% of their market, but they know that brand for that 10%. That means something. That really does mean something. It's like Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce, perfect example. If I say Rolls-Royce, all of you are going to know it's cars.
Yeah.
All of you are going to know them as cars. Guess what? They make aircraft engines. Most of their market and their industry is around aircraft manufacturing, or it might not be manufacturing entirely, but the aircraft engines in particular. And there was a bit of a worry over the past couple of years with the pandemic and all that Rolls-Royce may not go bust because no one's buying aircraft. And so, therefore, no one needs the engines that they're manufacturing.
So my friend's husband works for Rolls-Royce in the plane bit, and they actually started making ventilators.
Yes, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they
instead.
Yeah,
but
a company like Rolls-Royce, you know them for the car. That counts for something. That counts for an awful lot. Knowing them for a few cars that they've made, you know, is a big thing. But it's just I don't know. Even though these companies might have their fingers in other pies, they might do other things. What they are known for is what could die here.
Yeah.
What they're known for it potentially is.
It's like Suzuki. Suzuki have cars and they have bikes, and I get that like they'd be okay, but when I think of Suzuki, I think of motorbikes. That's the first bike that I remember my dad having.
Funnily enough, that's the opposite for me, because my dad, when I was about 5 years old, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, he had a Suzuki.
Did he?
His car was a Suzuki, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I always knew Suzuki for their cars first before their motorcycles, but a company like Suzuki, I think they would struggle.
Yeah.
In this utopia, I think they would struggle because their entire industry is around motorcycles and cars, and like you say, Suzuki are known more for their motorcycles than their cars.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't see Suzuki producing or selling a load of cars, even though I bet you they are some of the most reliable cars that you can buy. People buy their motorcycles.
It's just talking about Suzuki's for a sec. So I texted my dad maybe a couple of weeks ago, because obviously, you know, we were looking at the mini kits for that. And I wondered whether they had any mini kits for my dad's bikes. And I said, can you just send me a list of the bikes you've had in the past? And he sent me a message like this. It's amazing the detail he's gone into. But I could literally give you a full list of exactly what he's ridden, and it's just mad.
Wow.
Like, he said he used to want a Honda Goldwing until he rode one and thought it was a lumbering great thing, and now recently he wanted the BMW K1600 six-cylinder.
Well, maybe we'll have a chat about that at some point in another show. But yeah, it's just tough, guys. This is really tough. Let's have a look, see what else you guys have got to say before we sign off.
Call on says some will argue too much noise just because they don't like the sound of it, no matter not how loud it is. Karens have been Karening long before the term was invented a few years ago.
Yeah.
There were Karens with the cavemen, probably.
Yeah. See, we need a name for the guys that are like that though as well, because there are lots of guys.
They say they're called Kevins.
Kevins. Okay, good.
Yeah. So there's Colin, you are right. So it is Three Forks. I don't have enough fingers to do the Yamaha Forks. Space City Moto Vlogs. Suzuki really dropped the ball with the Gen 3 booster. Makes me sad.
Yes, yeah, they did. I mean, at some point I'm going to ride a Gen 3 booster at some point, but yeah, when you look at it from a performance point of view, it's a downgrade from the last generation. Yeah, which is very sad. And the only reason why is because of Euro 5. Because that's what European governments like to do. They like to dictate their terms to the manufacturers, and now the whole world has to suffer with a downgraded Hayabusa as a result. Yeah, stupid. Yeah, it's really sad. A motorcycle like that. I mean, fair play to them for actually producing it to begin with, but it's not Hayabusa, is it really, when you think about it? Oh, really sorry. I haven't done the ad breaks today.
Well, there's no point doing one now, is there?
It's a bit late to do an ad break now, isn't it, guys? But yeah, we are going to try doing them
we'll get into
more regularly.
I think the thing is, we get into such a flow of conversation that there's not often a good break in which to do it.
You don't want to break in the conversation, do
No.
you? When it's an interesting topic and when there's a lot to talk about, yeah, you don't want to break it up, really.
Mark has asked if the Gen 3 is the latest booster. The new one
Yeah.
looks good, but still wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, the Gen 3 is the latest one. Yeah, it came out 2021. The third gen Hayabusa.
What did we see? We saw a Fireblade the other day, didn't we? We went to the supermarket, but it was a Repsol branded
Yeah,
one.
had the Repsol Racing
We
branding.
saw him twice. It was such a nice bike, and you
Yeah.
stopped and spoke to him, didn't you? And
Well,
said it
no,
was a ni- you said it
I
was a
just
nice
said
bike.
that's a nice bike, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very lovely machine. Yeah.
Cool. And then JWN196, never been to the UK. However, my wife did a summer in Soho, London for a Shakespeare summer for NYU. Oh, that's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, we are the Shakespearean people, which is fun. I love Shakespeare. Dope Style Gaming, question for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Almost at 3k subs though. Whoop! Anything special in the pipeline?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet is the honest answer.
I mean, there's a few things that we want to do. We've got in mind.
I mean, I haven't had much of a chance to think about it, to be honest with you. I mean, we just broke 2,000 subscribers. I think it was at the beginning of June, and so to reach 3k in the quickest amount of time is absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant achievement. Not quite there yet, but we're getting there quickly. I don't know is the honest answer. Because the main thing that I'm thinking about at the moment is the wind down of the end of the year. So, because, I mean, last year over the winter, we weren't able to release as many videos as we'd like to, just because we simply didn't have the time or the weather to shoot the videos. So we turned our schedule down to one video a week. I don't want to do that this year. I want to try and continue pushing the same amount of content that we are at the moment, but I'm trying to strategize how to do that during the winter months, like whether or not it's a case of just trying to film as much as possible so we've got enough footage to last us the winter, or if there's another way that we could do it. But I mean, that's kind of where my brain has been at recently, because I mean, well, we're middle of September, and I mean, in the next couple of months, well, next few weeks, in fact, the temperature is going to drop massively.
It's already going down to
UK.
17 degrees this weekend.
I mean, last year I was able to ride, I think, all the way up until the end of December.
It was quite late, wasn't
So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do the same thing this year. But I don't know, with the heat waves that we've had, you kind of think to yourself, we're going to have quite a harsh winter.
That's what I think. I think it's
So-
going to be really, really cold.
We'll see. If I get the opportunity to shoot more, then I will. But yeah, that's kind of like what I've been thinking recently.
I imagine our reactions will still go ahead. And
Yeah,
our
of course. I mean,
shorts and stuff,
if anything,
so-
we're probably going to have to do more scripted content. We're going to have to do more indoor-based stuff.
in-house.
Yeah,
So to speak.
literally in-house stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll think of something. Something. We have to. It's 3k subscribers. I think we have to. It's again a big milestone, and thanks to all you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark, you're saying that it's good that we're reaching into the United States. The United States is actually one of our biggest viewer bases, which is fantastic. So all you guys from the US, I absolutely love you. You guys are awesome. So yeah, and we wouldn't be in this position right now if it wasn't for our United States viewers. So yeah, it's awesome, absolutely awesome. But yeah, we'll think of something.
Yeah.
We'll think of something. And,
I mean, we've done, like last year we did our bloopers, which was really funny.
yeah.
So we might look to do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd do that anyway, because that's not a nice end of the year roll down, especially some of the things. Oh, sorry, kick the dog. Especially some of the things that we/I come out with when I'm not thinking. So
That's going to be tough though, because every single year we get more and more footage.
yeah,
And trying to sift through that is going to be is going to be tough.
yeah.
Try to remember all the stupid things that we say we'll do.
If you haven't seen that bloopers, or you just need a pick me up, go watch it, because it is
Well,
like
it's on the shorts, isn't it?
Is it the shorts? Is it?
We have a longer version of it on one of the live shows that we did, but we don't have that video released. We have a short version of it.
I might do that as a thing.
Yeah,
we'll
have a
just
think about that.
have a look, because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
I think you'll all get a kick out of it. It's good. It's good fun. So, but yeah.
Mark, 17 degrees and you're moaning. We're currently at 12 overnight. Yeah. Yeah, I
I
know.
like to be toasty.
I know.
And
I know.
warm.
I mean, I do get quite depressed when it comes
Yeah.
to October, November time, when the days get really dark and yeah, it gets colder. I do get very depressed because you spend all your day working. The day where you've got daylight, you spend it all day working, and when you finish work, you
wake up in the dark.
yeah.
And you finish work in the dark.
It sucks. Absolutely sucks. And so I really don't like the winter. I really don't like it.
Mad Dog 2866 has a really interesting idea. Winter project, strip it down, let the wife build it. He might let me start on this and then build me up, because you're gonna see he's not keen on the idea.
Well, I mean, this is kind of referring to last week's video about buying a cheap bike, because if there was a cheap bike out there that I could buy just to rag around in, if it breaks, who cares, kind of thing. But if it does break, we'll try and fix it. And then that could be a perfect opportunity for you to kind of get your hands a bit dirty. So it is something that I would like the wifey to kind of get into.
Not the ZZR or the ZH2.
Maybe not the ZZR.
Well, if you took
I'm
that
not
apart-
competent myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, we'll definitely have to look at that. I think. I mean, maybe the winter will be a good opportunity to look at buying a dirt.
Might be able to
a dirt bike, a rubbish bike.
Might be able to negotiate with people, because they probably just want it out the house at that point. And
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
really buys motorbikes during winter, do they?
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
That's right. So yeah, could be a good opportunity.
What a ZZR 600?
Yeah, it could. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's loads of options. I mean, I was looking at a Suzuki Bandit initially, but I don't know. I've got to have a think about it. But yeah, they're going to be bikes from like the mid to late 90s. They're going to be bikes from maybe the early 2000s, things like that. Is probably where we're looking. At least to get a decent like trash bike.
Something that can run, I guess, at least.
That's a bit of an oxymoron right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I've ever heard one.
So good morning, Mark SG in Australia.
Mark SG from Australia. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? yeah, Bandit 600. Yeah, that's probably what I'd look at for sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
we've
can
got
find.
a lot of ideas and a lot of things floating around that we want to try out. So we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to sign off for now.
Okay.
Yeah, the dog's being a bit of a pain again.
Yeah.
He's just running around. You can't see him.
You might be able to hear him.
You might be able to hear him, but he's wandering around like moaning at us. So he's probably like hungry or something. You want to say hello to the people? You want to say hello to the goblins? Here he is. Yeah. Oh, you're quiet now, aren't you?
Gone all shy.
No, he's on camera. He's gone all quiet. He's like, oh, you sweetie. Yeah, you poor little thing. Hey, we're not giving you enough attention, are we? No. Aww.
He has us home 24/7, but basically, and it's still not enough for him.
Still not enough. But anyway, guys and gals, thank you ever so much for tuning in to today's live show. You guys are absolutely awesome in the chat, as always. I absolutely love the kind of diversity that we get in ideas and opinions in the chat, and none of them are like extreme ideas either. They're all very, very moderate and understanding and compromising, and that's something that I think is quite rare within a community, is to have so many people that are passionate about something, but they can still be reasonable about it. But
also, everyone in the chat is really respectful of everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so nice to see. You don't always get that, do you?
Honestly, this is why I love being a part of the motorcycle community. I really do. And as much as there's a minority of people that are unwelcoming, that are unhelpful, that are kind of the arrogant kind of people, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Even though there's a few of those people out there within our community, that I'm so happy to see that the vast majority of us are like-minded, respectful, and
pleasant human beings.
Yeah, just good people. So yeah, honestly, you guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you again ever so much for your contributions in the chat as always. I love chatting with you guys. So yeah, it definitely puts a smile on my face. I think, especially yeah, after the couple of weeks that we've had. So
Yeah.
so yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, Wifey, do you have any concluding remarks that you'd like to make on anything that we've spoken about in today's show? No. That's
No.
fine. You don't have to.
No, nothing today.
That's fine. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, guys and girls, take care.
Ride safe.
Ride safe, and yeah, we'll catch you all next week. We've got a release coming out tomorrow, as always. If I don't see you then, have a good weekend, and yeah, we'll be back. Same bad time, same bad channel. That's what they say online as tech tips.
Right. Okay.
I'm a nerd, you see. But anyway, guys, yeah, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week. Take care. Oh, Lone Wolf, mate. Lone Wolf, good to see you. Oh.
We found a beer called Lone Wolf, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We did. We got a picture.
I took a picture of it. I'll have to send it to you on Instagram. That's in fact, just before we actually sign off, that's one thing I haven't been doing a lot recently, has been keeping up with the messages and the comments from people on the channel and on Instagram. I'm really trying to get round to keep catching up with it, so I'm not ignoring you. I will get round to it at some point or other to send you guys all some messages and what have you. But yeah, I just haven't had the time to go through comments or go through our chats or anything like that. So
It's in our mind.
yeah, it's at the forefront of our minds for sure. But yeah, it's good to see you, Lone Wolf. I hope you're doing well, mate. And I'll send you that picture of the was it a beer or was
an
it
ale or gin or something?
Yeah.
It was alcohol.
I think it was gin.
Might have been.
I think it was gin.
But we were like,
Lone Wolf gin.
Go take a picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, well, we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
You gotta get the big breath to bark then.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he just deflated.
Yeah. Oh, I love what's in the chat.